We're all looking for new ways to stay cool in the summer heat, and Matt's is here to show us behind the physics behind staying cool.
That's right. I mean, it's a good excuse to go buy a squirt gun is what it is, but you know, it's a lot of fun, and everybody knows that the best, well, one really good way to stay cool is to get wet.
Right.
And you know, you can't always get wet if you have nice clothes on and stuff like that, like you
like
do.
you're gonna try,
but
okay.
yeah, we'll see about that. But anyways, you know, if you hop in a pool and you jump out of the pool, you feel kind of refreshed. Even inside the pool, you're refreshed. Oh, this is too tempting. I can't believe this.
Yes, it is. Look at this.
Right.
No, nice clothes.
And so the reason that the water cools you off is it's the same reason that the physics behind making the ice cream a few weeks ago, which is that the ice cubes cool things by melting. It's not so much that the ice cubes are cold, it's the act of melting draws heat away from whatever is the surrounding is. It's the same as with water. When water evaporates, it draws heat away from your skin. That's why you sweat, and that's why if you you know, if you come out of a pool in a very dry climate like Arizona, it can be 110 degrees out, and you'll still shiver while the water is evaporating off your skin, and then you'll be hot again, okay? So, now, squirt guns have come a long way since I was a little kid. We used to get these little things like this. In fact, I had this little green thing called the Avenger that kind of fit in the palm of my hand.
Ooh, cool.
It's only the little thing showed. I got in big trouble with that once. And, but the way they work is that it's just a little pumpy thing in here, and it uses the fact that water is incompressible. So I have to demonstrate that with this little syringe. Okay, so if I fill this thing with water and I block it, I can't squeeze this, right? So, but if I just let it go, okay, then the stuff squirts out the end. So these things work by simply, you're squeezing the water out through a little tiny hole. And if you're squeezing, you know, a big hunk of water out through a little weeny hole, it has to go real fast. Sure. And so the distance that you squirt just depends on how hard you can pull on the trigger. But the disadvantage is that there's not a lot of water in these things.
You're gonna lose if you take one of those.
And if you're a little kid like I was, you know, and maybe you don't have the same kind of finger strength as like some big kid, you're going to lose. But you can use this other physics principle, which is that gases are compressible. Okay, and that's sort of the basis of the design of all the new squirt guns. So what you do is you have sort of a design where you have a bunch of air and a little bit of water. Now, you can squish down on the air with this plunger, and it just gets compressed. The pressure goes up.
Right.
So you squish it down, so you got a lot of pressure, then you let go.
Ooh.
Okay, and you get the stuff coming out real fast. And so that's kind of the design behind these things. What you do is you
pump it up.
You pump it up, and there's an air chamber in here where the pressure builds up. And it's very simple physics. If you put twice as much air in the same volume, you get twice the pressure, pretty much. Right. And then once you pull the trigger, okay, you get a pretty good squirt going. And even if you're just a little kid, anybody can pull the trigger, right? And you pump this thing up, and then you get a lot of squirting for quite a lot of. Oh, you guys, you know. Okay.
Yeah, give that to me.
way.
I'm going to give one of these to Dawn, too.
Okay, so these are really fun. And so what we're going to talk about when we come back, actually, is there's a bit of physics in this, and kids can play around with this, watching how the stream goes and the shape that it makes, the arc and stuff like that. There's a lot of physics and math in that, so we'll talk about that, because we have to have an excuse to buy these cool things.
And you got 15 seconds. I know you're jonesing.
We're also going to talk about the physics of how much water it takes to mess up Rob's hair.
Oh, correct. Oh!
Plastic's not going to cover that up.
My friend?
Oh, bye.
Thanks, Ann. All right, we're going to be back. We're back with more of the morning show. Yeah, right after this. Hey, never mind. It's weather. Hey, Jennifer, it's raining in here.